There are some things we don't talk about. If you want to have a good family, there are some things that you just don't bring up. And maybe it's politics in a world that's becoming increasingly divided, where we only want to talk to people who agree with us or maybe even have a further stance than us on the exact same topic. It's difficult to talk politics with our families. But another place that seems to be increasingly difficult to talk about is religion. As parents who are trying to raise disciples of Jesus Christ, this is problematic. We've got to talk about God with our children. How do we do that, though? How do we intentionally make space to have conversations about God with our children? Let's get started. In this video, we're going to give you some quick and easy tips how you can talk about God with your children. Not only how do you set the stage for those deeper conversations, but what do you do when you get there? Again, if you'd like to be a part of this channel, when you click like and subscribe, it helps. It helps grow this, but also it helps you know what's going on. So feel free to subscribe to this video. Feel free to join this channel as we grow together in how we can disciple our children. So, how to set the stage for those conversations? First of all, those conversations don't just all of a sudden happen. We've got to set the stage for them. We've got to create an atmosphere that makes it safe for us to have those conversations. So, as your kids are young, make sure that when you talk about God, it's not all one sided, but make sure that you are also inviting them into that conversation. Because although, yes, we want to pass truth on and we want to make sure that what they're getting is true, we also want to create a safe space for dialogue. This is incredibly important as they grow older. As they become teenagers, they're going to have those questions. And if everything has always been one sided, they may not feel like they have a voice in the conversation. They may push those questions or feelings aside instead of dealing with them and answering with them. And that could become problematic later on. Years of working as a youth pastor, working with children, I have seen both sides of this. Often I'll have kids reach out to me with questions they have about God, and they don't know who else to talk to. These are big questions. These are not easy to answer questions, but they've been wrestling with them silently. So often, these same kids have left the church. They've stopped believing in God because there was no one to answer the questions they never asked. So, the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you're creating a space for dialogue. The second thing you need to do is make sure that you're intentionally weaving God into all of your conversations. Look for those teaching moments, look for those opportunities where you can talk about God in daily life. Instead of just making this a segmented part, like, okay, we're going to have our worship time, and that's when we're going to talk about God. We'll pray to Him quickly before each meal. But when we segment our life like this, it doesn't make it easy to bring God up. And so instead, as you're driving in the car, as you're going to bed, as you're rising, as you're eating breakfast, as you're going for a walk, use those opportunities. Talk about God's creation, talk about what He's done in your life. Ask your kids questions about what they love about God. Ask them questions about the creation that they enjoy. Ask them about what God is doing in their life. Let them wrestle with that at a young age. I think of one kid in particular. I studied with him starting in the fourth grade. Things seemed to be going good. He was a little bit antsy. Fifth grade, he straight up fought me, though. I mean, every single lesson, he pushed back, pushed back. It was clear he wanted to prove that I was wrong when it came to the Bible. Sixth grade, we talked a little bit more, but seventh and eighth, we just started talking. He and I would go for walks where we would just talk about God. He would talk and I would listen. I would talk and he would listen. And we had these long conversations. The end of his eighth grade year, he made it clear he wanted to be baptized and he wanted that relationship with Jesus. These conversations, these are critical in discipleship. Having those talks, having those conversations. But you can't do that without carving out time. As parents, it's critically important. Make time for conversations with your kids. Have those talks, but not just about the everyday and the mundane, but carve out time specifically to talk to your kids about God, about your journey, about your beliefs, but also make it a conversation. Find out about their journey because their journey is what parenting is all about.